Hey everyone, it's Kevin. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about food addiction. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to check out some of my free resources below. Don't forget to check out the Empowered Eating System, my signature program. You can enroll today. What is food addiction? Some of you watching this think you are food addicts. You keep eating the same foods over and over, you can't stop eating, you eat it compulsively, it's like you have no control over it. Therefore, you must have an addiction, right? What if you're not addicted? What if food addiction is a myth? What if the whole concept of addiction is a myth? In today's video, I'm going to offer some alternative perspectives on what it means to be addicted to food. The first thing I want to say is no one food is the problem. This is what makes disordered eating so tricky, because you can't just eliminate food. If you're addicted to heroin, cocaine, methamphetamines, smoking, porn, whatever, you can eliminate that and you can live a normal life. You can't say the same with food. You have to eat. You can eliminate some foods, but at the end of the day, you have to eat something. If you're overeating or binge eating some foods, let's say 5 or 6 different foods, you can cut out those foods, but you can still overeat or binge eat on anything. It would be easy if you were only overeating or binge eating one food. Let's say it was ice cream. It would be pretty easy. All you do is avoid the ice cream and you can eat everything else. The thing is, a lot of overeaters, binge eaters, disordered eaters, they overeat and binge eat on a lot of things. Just to give you an example, I binged on white rice. Why? Because it was cheap and it provided a lot of carbs and a lot of starch, and I could consume a lot of it in a short amount of time. So the solution for me wasn't to cut out food. I had to eat something, and I had to have more than nutritional shakes or a bowl of gruel. That was always my problem, is I could binge or overeat anything. And in the end, I had to eat something without overeating or binge eating it. This is why I say no one food is the problem. The behavior is the problem, not the food itself. This leads me to my second point, is that just consuming the food doesn't necessarily mean you're going to lose control. It might seem that way. We like to refer to foods as triggers. This is a trigger food, or this is a fear food of mine, because whenever I eat it, I lose control. But that's not destiny. Just because you consume it doesn't mean that you're going to lose control over your 2 hands and your mouth. We are humans, and yes, we have neurotransmitters and hormones, and we have natural predilections, but in the end, we have gray matter. We have a cortex, and in that cortex, we can choose yes or no. Even when it seems like we don't have that choice, it is the truth. Let me give you an example. If I told you to have only 1 bite of ice cream, and if you only had 1 bite, I would pay you $500, would you do it? You would. I know you would, because that's an easy way to make $500. So when the reward is immediate, you'll do it. The problem with breaking these kind of habits and these addictions and these disorders is that if we deny ourselves today, we don't get any immediate benefit. That doesn't mean you shouldn't stop, but the benefits are always going to be in the future, just not today. Whereas if you eat the ice cream, if you eat the cookie, you get the immediate benefit today. That's why it's immediate. The point I'm trying to make is if you have enough incentive, you will correct it. And that the chemicals that you find in food, flour, sugar, oil, salt, don't necessarily dictate your behavior. Not only that, but foods have different effects on everybody's brain. This is why I don't think that chemical is destiny. One person might really enjoy ice cream, the other person won't. I've met people who don't like ice cream. Some people really like cheese, I don't like cheese. Some people will binge on cookies, some people don't like cookies. My point is, if chemical were destiny, everybody would have the exact same response. But we have different preferences. We have different genes, we have different experiences, we have different emotions. We attach certain experiences and certain emotions to different foods because we all have a different history. The point is, chemical isn't destiny, and no one food is your problem. That leads me to my next point. The foods that excited you or stimulated you in the past are not the same ones that excite you today. And the foods that excite you today might not be the same ones that excite you in the future. This means our brains are malleable, they're plastic, they change over time. Preferences change, preferences can change, habits can change. What we think is pleasurable changes. Think about what music you were listening to 5 years ago. You're not listening to that now, at least not as much. And what are you going to listen to in 5 years that you're not listening to now? You don't know. And the music that you're listening to now might not be the music that you listen to in the future. You can say the same thing about hobbies, you can say the same thing about TV shows, people. Our lives are constantly changing and we're always adapting. This is another big argument against the chemical hypothesis, that chemicals cause certain reactions in our brain and they trigger us to do certain things. Our brains change, everything changes, our lives change. If you think you can't regain control, if you don't think you can break habits, if you don't think you can, this channel would not be possible without Estetino Artist. If you want to start your own YouTube channel and start producing content today, then check out the Creative Business Academy. There is a link below. Alright, back to the video. Eat healthier. If you don't think you can overcome an ED, if you don't think you can overcome disordered eating, you're wrong. And I'm here to tell you you're wrong. Because you can change habits if you have enough incentive, if you have a vision, if you have good reasons to. You can make habits, you can break habits. Just as you started this addiction, you can also break it. Just as you started this eating disorder, you can also recover from it. Rights come with responsibilities. We have the right to choose, we have a right to decide what we eat, but we also have the responsibility to fix it. My next point is, you're not really addicted. You are choosing the immediate benefits of whatever that food is. I made a video called Eating Disorders or Our Choice. I know that sounds offensive and callous, like why would somebody choose this? Well, listen, when people overeat, when people consume a substance, when people take drugs, whatever, they are choosing the immediate reward. The reward is right there, and if they deny themselves that reward, they get nothing. In the future they will, but they don't see that right now, and this is what makes it so hard, is that our brains are hardwired for immediate gratification, short-term gratification. We're not designed to think long-term. So if you deny yourself something today, that's great, but you're not getting any reward. It's just nothing. There's no stimulus there. If you repeat that many days and many weeks, then you're going to live a better life. You know that intellectually, but you're not going to get the immediate reward. If you want to look better and have a better physique, if you say no to the ice cream today, there's no reward. And you still don't like your body. It's the worst of both worlds. The thing is, you have to be persistent. And if you say no to the ice cream for 100 days, then you're going to start noticing changes in your body. Just not today. Overcoming this natural tendency will be the battle of your life. The good news is you can train your brain to be less distracted. You can train your brain to not be addicted. You can train your brain to create new habits. The central message here is you're not addicted to food. You're choosing to eat it. This leads me to my last point, is that you can eat foods without losing control. That's the whole concept of food freedom. Food freedom means you should be able to eat anything you want, whenever you want. That's great. But I think that should be an end, not necessarily the means. But what I'm saying is you can incorporate the foods that you're addicted to into your diet. You don't have to. You can be totally abstinent. You can eliminate them. You can have them in small quantities. You can have them in large quantities, even after you've recovered. You choose the quantity. It doesn't matter. If you say, no, I'm not having cookies anymore, that's fine, you're still recovered. If you say, I'm going to have 2 cookies a day, that's fine, you're still recovered. There is no one path to recovery. So let's review a little bit. No one food is the problem. Even if you eliminated cookies from your diet, you could still find something else to provide that reward. Remember, the behavior is the problem, not the food itself. You're not addicted, you're choosing it because you like the short-term reward, and you're sacrificing the long-term benefits of not having the cookie. You're not addicted, you're just choosing the short-term reward. You're placing too much emphasis on that short-term gain and not enough emphasis on your long-term objectives. Your brain can adapt, you can change your habits, you can change your preferences. Chemical is not destiny. Just because you eat something doesn't mean that you're going to behave a certain way. We're not rats in a cage, we're humans. You can eat any food without losing control. It takes a little bit of practice, but if you want to incorporate those fear foods or those problem foods after recovery, that's certainly possible. And you can eat foods without losing control. If you want to incorporate all of those addictive foods into your diet after recovery, that's certainly possible. If you want to stop eating these foods, you are more than capable of doing that. It takes some practice, it takes some persistence, and you need to have good reasons to stop eating them. A little bit of coaching and guidance will help too, but the point is, you don't have to consume these. Nothing or nobody is making you consume these addictive foods. These addictive foods have less control over your mind than you think. The problem is you're ascribing more power to them than you should. If you have good reasons to stop eating them, maybe for health, maybe you want to look better, I don't know, whatever it is, you can stop eating them. In order to stop eating these addictive foods, the reward of not eating them must exceed the reward of eating them. It's a simple cost-benefit analysis. But if you continue to eat these foods, high in fat and high in sugar, you're eating them because the short-term reward is worth more than whatever reward you would have in the future if you chose not to eat them. Hope you found this video educational and entertaining. Don't forget to subscribe and check out some of my free resources below. If you liked this video, I'm sure you'll like one of the other videos that you see on the screen. Click one of them, and I'll see you there.